Today, me and Maddie will be analyzing the physics of this scene from the movie Norbit as Rapusha goes down the slide and flies off of it. We will find the velocity as she goes down the slide. We will also find her projectile motion, so velocity initial in the x and y, and the total time she's in the air for. We are going to start with the equation. Velocity final equals velocity initial plus acceleration multiplied by time. Velocity initial will be 0. Acceleration will be negative 9.8 due to gravity. And after recording the clip and watching how long it takes, we figured the time was 2.5 seconds for Rapusha to go down the water slide. After calculating this into our calculator, we got 24.5 meters per second was the velocity of Rapusha going down the water slide. Quickly, then, me and Maddie noticed the first issue with the physics in this movie. We realized as Rapusha goes down the water slide, the whole time her speed does not change, and she goes down it as if there was no friction and does not stop. However, there's a lot of the clip still left, and me and Maddie want to continue to try to figure out if the physics stays good or goes bad. The next thing me and Maddie noticed is that Rapusha randomly flies off the slide, but she has no projectile force, and there's no upward motion in the slide, so she has no reason to suddenly fly off the slide. So this is another issue with the physics, but we are going to treat it like a projectile problem and see if the distance and time she traveled was still accurate. So we are going to find velocity initial in the x and velocity initial in the y to find time and distance. To begin, we are going to use the velocity final we calculated last problem and do the cosine of 5 because we figured that Rapusha flies off the slide at a 5-degree angle. And then for the y, we're going to use the 24.5 velocity final but do the sine and still use the angle of 5. So we found that the velocity initial in the x is 24.4 and the velocity initial in the y is 2.14, both meters per second. So after finding these two velocities in the x and y, we need to find the time. And to find the time, we're going to use the velocity initial y. So to find time, we are going to use the equation -2 velocity initial over acceleration equals time. And we found this simplified equation online, and it is a simplified version of one of the big four equations. So to compute our numbers, -2 times 2.14 are velocity initial y over negative 9.8 acceleration. It is important to keep acceleration negative when doing this type of problem. And we got 0.44 seconds, a very short time. And then we soon realized that this physics does not match up with the movie clip, because in the movie clip, it takes Rapusha about 11 seconds to fly from the slide to the ground. So, to conclude, this movie has bad physics because they treat Rapusha like she has no friction as she goes down the slide with the same velocity the whole time. She flies off the side with no projectile force, and she's in the air for far too long.